हम लाइव हैं, अब स्टार्ट करते हैं।
Started? Ji, assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me on board the platform. My name is Zan Asif, and today I'll be talking about like how to pick the right career. And this will be a data-driven decision. Like we will be using the application of data sciences based on the data that we've collected from the market. Right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I lost you guys there.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're good. Right. So like if you I want this session to be as interactive as possible because the questions that come from you, based on that, I will be able to answer anything that comes. So like if there's any question that comes in, please let me know. And I don't really see any questions pop up. So Mr. Temur, I would be looking forward to hearing questions from you. And
Yes.
Zunair and Ms. Sapura, you can also join in. Right. So I would just start with explaining why career decision is very important. Like, know which industry to get into, which career path to choose from. Like, first of all, the education system in all over the world. Like, we have to look at what is the status quo and what are the leading in educational platforms. And that is the United States and the United Kingdom, because Pakistan and India were a colony of the United Kingdom, which was Great Britain at that time, but now they've just made it like United Kingdom. So Pakistan generally follows the British curriculum of education. It has the 12 years of education, and at grade earlier on it was grade 8, then it was grade 10, 9 and 10, and then 11 and 12. So like that was like 12 years of education, and then you have to enroll in 4 years of bachelor's program. That was earlier on. It was just a 2 years of bachelor's program, and then 2 years of master's. And if you wanted to get into an MPhil program, like Masters of Philosophy, and then later that would be 18 years of education, and moving on it would be, and then you would be eligible to enroll in a PhD. So, but trends after the year 2000, they changed. They moved the 2 years program to a 4 years bachelor's degree, a bachelor's of science or a bachelor's of honors, and so like a simple bachelor's is basically now 4 years of education. So like as the time as the technologies and as different sciences evolved, so did the minimum criteria for level of understanding. So I would basically be speaking on the subject that how can you know which subject or which industry to get into. Like, for example, I will give an example of like how did I choose. Like, so basically, let me just speak with the uh, like there are basically four categories. So first, you can either be an entrepreneur or you can work a 9 to 5 job. So and in that category, so like basically what would happen, you could be a big you could go big. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur, you could be a big giant like Microsoft, you could be like Google, you could be like Facebook, or you could be a lifestyle entrepreneur. Like you see these fashion models, you see these athletes, they are entrepreneurs on their own, but they lead a lifestyle. So that is one of the categories that will be basically that's one of the areas that like you could choose from if you wish to be an entrepreneur. Also, now I'm moving to the 9 to 5, the job. You can work for someone else. There's nothing wrong or right. Like it's not right to be an entrepreneur or wrong to have a job. It's just different people. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur, and not everyone can work for someone else, you know. So like it has to, you have to find out where do you fit in. And so like, and again, if you want to go to the job industry, like, will you be working for a big corporate, an established corporate, a big company, or will you be working for a startup? So that's just basically like, if I break it down, it's like entrepreneurship and 9 to 5 job. And in the entrepreneurship, would you like to become a corporate, a big company like Google, Microsoft, or Amazon, or any company, or would you like to get into a lifestyle entrepreneurship? And then if you were working a 9 to 5 job working for someone else, would you be working for a big company, or would you be working for a startup? So like, this is the broader, this is where I will just, break down my talk. And before this, before you can actually choose that I want to be an entrepreneur or I want to be a 95 person, you have to pick the industry. What industry will you be working for? So like, if you go to the, if you can Google this, like, if you go to the Department of Labor, the category industry wise, according to the United States, my talk is going to revolve around the industry standards that have been set up by United States, and because they're very well connected and they're very well structured, and the data is like, you can pick up data 40 years from now. I mean, 40 years from now, like, it's all there, like all the statistics, anything and everything. Like, it's very clean, and it's give people. I in Pakistan, even though I'm not an American citizen, I can have access to that data. So it's so. I mean, I don't have words to describe like how awesome and how simple they've made it, and they've like made it publicly available. So based on that, which industry would you be joining? So like, if you feel like, basically just go to that website, the department. So basically, what industry is like, you can pick up agriculture. Agriculture is an industry. Pakistan is primarily, because I come from Punjab, and Punjab is primarily an agricultural land. Like, that's what we we're famous for, and that's what we build on. We're landlords, or we're like farmers, and farming can be with the livestock, or you can be a farmer that cultivates crops. So basically, that's the agriculture industry and livestock industry. So most of the people from Punjab, they have some affiliation with being landlords or having land. Their forefathers might have had land, or they might have been in the livestock industry. So that's one industry that we can focus on. Another industry is the mining industry in Balochistan, in Sindh. Um, they're coal mines, like the coal mines of Thar. But I come from Pakistan, so I'm basically going to be talking about the subject areas revolve around the industries which I see in Pakistan. So that's one of the industries that you could focus on, because, and I will just I'm just naming a few industries, and then there is like the manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry is like all on its own. Like, it's a big entity, big giant. Like, you can just like, you can manufacture consumer goods, FMCGs. You can manufacture cars. You can manufacture like, it's a different industry on its own. Like, but the business template, the conceptual data model, the logical data model, and the physical data model, like, it's all similar when it comes to the manufacturing industry, because you start with some point and you end with a product, and then you have the supply chain and you have everything. So like, it's very common. Then there is the transportation and the public industry, like locomotives, transportation. That's like, it could be public, it could be private. That's the logistics. Like, it could be like a delivery service. You can deliver people for, like, it could be a bus. It could be within the city, outside the cities. Like, it. There are some services that even like welcome. Like, if you go to Europe, they're within countries. Like, there's a bus that goes all the way from Switzerland to France, and like, it crosses through Germany and all these other areas. So like, that could also work. Like, I mean, I'm I'm just going to relay things which are generally, and if I want to specify an example, I'll be specific for Pakistan. But generally, like this is an industry, transportation, logistics, that's also there. And then there's the wholesale trading, like, you know, you buy in bulk. There's a market in Lahore that was earlier on. It was the center hub for like Central Asia, like not just for Pakistan. It was like all the landlocked countries on the north of Pakistan. So like okay, so like there's a question. What about certificates? Okay, so Mr. Temur, would you just note down these questions and I'll ask them. Answer them later. So like so basically the questions which I'm welcoming right now is based on what I'm speaking right now. That would be more relevant. Yes, I can just tell you what are the prerequisites for data science and whatnot. So what I'm trying to build on is the industry. So like there's this wholesale there was the Shah Alam market, and like the entire Pakistani shoppers and shopkeepers, they would just come up and just buy in bulk. But now they've distributed it into different areas. And the statistics, like just 10 years back, it wasn't just for Pakistan. It was like the Russian states, like on top of Afghanistan and that route, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, all those states, they would come and buy from Pakistan. And where would they buy from? They would buy from Shah Alam market, and that's placed in Lahore. That's based in Lahore, and that's the city where I'm speaking from. I'm based in Lahore, so that's this industry. If it comes to the wholesale, then comes the retail. Like you don't really need to have in. I mean, there's a different model for wholesales, and then there's the retail industry. That's completely different. That's very different from like what's the pricing, how do you get the supply chain running and everything. That's a different business template model, everything and everything. The education services, like for example schools, colleges, universities, that's like it's a very different dynamics all on its own. My kids are going into preschool right now, two of them. So like one is in playgroup and the other is in kindergarten. So basically they're not even in school yet. So they're like three levels of like preschool. So like I mean this is how much we've evolved and how much importance and how much structure we have given to the education system. And then there's the primary school, then there's the secondary school, and like what I'm speaking to you right now is something that I should have been taught from the age of like 6 to 18. Sadly, it just took me 30 years to figure it out. Like, so that's just, so what I want is that the kids, they would, they would know this before, what I want is like a legacy for my kids. Like, you shouldn't start off where I left off. I mean, that's the ideal situation. Instead of learning the same things which I learned, you should build on what I know already, and that's what progress is. That's what really makes the nations grow. So like, and then there's like the hospitals and the healthcare. Hospitals and healthcare, they're two different entities. So like, then there's this insurance. So like, don't just pick a career randomly. You see someone like, your relatives are coming in, and you see them like, hi, I see my neighbor getting into this degree and he's making a lot of money. So, hey, what the heck? Let me do that. Don't follow the sheep instinct, don't follow the herd instinct. Don't just be a sheep and follow like, hey, data sciences is very trending. Let me get a bachelor's in data sciences. But what guarantee do you have that by the time you graduate, there will be any jobs left for data sciences? Hey, cybersecurity is very booming these days. You name any popular degree that's very common these days, like IT or anything. What guarantee do you have that it will even have a job at 10 years from now? There's no guarantee. You don't even know. And data scientists 10 years ago did not exist. As it was there, but it was scattered. It would come under statistics. It would come under computer science and machine learning. But there was no umbrella to actually define like, hey, this is coming under data science is because computer science is just 20 years old, or maybe like 30 years old, because it's like 2020 now. So like if I go, it was like it just started in the 90s. Earlier on, it was just electrical engineering. Like if you go to the 80s or the 70s, it was just electrical engineering, and then they had the computer programming, and then said like, hey, this is a new industry on its own. So like whatever jobs, like my kids, whenever they reach 18, those jobs do not exist right now. So how will I prepare them for something that doesn't even exist? My parents and my elder siblings, I'm the sixth kid in my family, so like I have about seven siblings. So they had no idea that computer science was ever a field that, how would, if that field did not exist in their time, how would they prepare me for something that doesn't even exist? That's a big question. So I'm trying to answer that question, is that if you build on the right foundations, know what did you revolve, what did you grow up around, what like, and so that's basically one of the things. I'm not going to be reading because these questions that are coming, they're like quite distracting, and they're like very specific to data sciences. I'll answer them. And Mr. Timur, I hope you're noting them down. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna like, how will you know about the jobs that don't even exist right now? So like, what you have to do is like know what gets you in flow. Flow is a state of being content with what you're doing. It's like you're working and the days go by and you have like, you're not even looking at your watch. You're like, when is this thing going to end? If you're doing that, you're not in flow. And believe me, you can make a lot of money by being out of flow. But the best thing to do, in my perspective, is to be in flow. Like you don't have to like be worried about like, hey, I have to do a certain routine just to maintain my job. It shouldn't be that way. I mean, it just has to be in flow. So like whatever industry you choose, and whatever job or lifestyle you get into, you be an entrepreneur, you be a 9 to 5 worker, you have to be in flow. And you can be out of flow. You've seen a lot of people like they're out of flow, but they're making a lot of money. So that's like, I wouldn't suggest that route. So like, one quick litmus test, that's like, because I come from a science background, so litmus like was a chemical that was used to test acids and bases. So like it would turn red with an acid, would come up and turn blue. So generally it would have its own neutral. I think it was purple in color. I don't really remember. It was grade 6 or something. It was the year 1996, like maybe 24 years ago or something. So it's not really fresh in my mind. So like the concept was like, if you're looking at your watch, you're like, hey, when is this thing going to be over? When is this speaker going to end talking? When am I going to get my certificate? When is the attendance going to come up? You're not in flow. Do not be in that state. And so like, and if you're not in flow and you're just watching the seminar, or like I can recommend a lot of books as well. So like there's a book, Finding Flow. If you can just see the author, Milhey. I can't really pronounce this Russian name. So like this is a really good book. I would recommend you read this book, Finding Flow. And I'll be recommending a lot of books to read. It's just like about like maybe less than 200 pages. So it's 150 pages. It's a very short book. It shouldn't take too much time. So that's one of the readings which I would recommend that you do it. And if you're not in flow, and if you just like decided that, hey, I hate my job, but it's giving me a lot of money, and one day when I make enough money, I'm just going to retire and never come back and make a decision. Don't be that guy. You can start a transition. You might be like aging, because I'm 35 now. I have like 3 kids. I'll be like 40 very soon, in just 5 years time. So like my kids, I cannot really switch decisions or switch sides. So what I can do is make a slow transition, like because I have responsibilities, I have dependents. Like because in Pakistan, family system is like, you welcome the old parents and people, and the young kids, and because we say that we think of them as assets as compared to the Western society, which they consider as a liability because they're not earning anything, but they're just consuming a lot of resources. We have a completely different mindset. Like if you have elder siblings, if you have elder parents, if you have grandparents, that's considered a source of barakah, and like that's a source of blessing which we consider in our society. So like, you have dependents, and you cannot just make a transition and you say, hey, I'm just giving up this job, or I hate it, and I was just finding a moment where I would find something better. Don't do that. Make a very small, slow change, and that would be like, take it 18 months, like 2 years. Take like about 2 years or like 1.5 years to transition. Like save enough money for 1 year that if you have, like, if your business or if your venture falls, like it goes completely south, you have like some reserves. So like make an 18 years transition. Now, like, how do you even know when you're in flow, right? So like, so basically, like, there are like 5 to 6 methodologies where you can find that you're in flow. Like the best and simple thing is like the days go by and you have no idea, like you're like, oh, I mean, it's been 6 months and I've been doing this, and you have no, like, it doesn't tire you, it doesn't bore you, and you're like just in flow, and you're not looking at the watch, you're not like, it could be any industry, it could be anything, you could be a teacher, you could just be like a middleman, you could be anything. I mean, if you're in flow, just go with it, and you can just, shift different paradigms and find out, like, if you're not in flow, find out what gets you into flow. There's the like Myers-Briggs online quizzes, the personality tests, and there are other dark triad and the Hexico and all that. So like, there's another book which I recommend. It's the Factor of Personality. Like, it's a book of psychology. Another book that's like about less than 200 pages. So this will just get you like to an overview of like what personality type are you like. So like, you basically have to find out what you are, like, it's like get an x-ray of your brain to figure out like, hey, this is what I am capable of doing. Some people are like very like, what's the word, an action type. Like there's like, hey, let's go, let's do this. I myself am an action type. Some of them like very emotional, like, can I trust this guy? Why is he here? Why is he asking? Some people are very social, like, hey, like, okay, let's do this. Some people, they say like, let's go on a road trip right at 12 a.m. in the morning. They're like, oh, okay, because everyone's going. And then there's like the practical type. They're like, let me think on this, because I have planned a lot of things, and so like there are different types of people. So you just have to find out what category do you lie in, and so like, and when you're looking for mentors, basically, if you're like, there won't be one guy who has all the answers. I wish there were people that they're people, they claim to know you more than you yourself, but that's something which I don't really believe in, because the best person who knows me is myself. My parents may know 50%, because I'm only half of their DNA, half of my mother and half of my father. If at max they would know me, they would just know me 50%. The only person who knows me 100% is myself. So, and how do I even find out like uh, what industries do I go in? I take a personality quiz. I find people. There won't be any person who just say like, just I have analyzed you, and this is the career path that you should go for. People claim it. I believe it's too good to be true. Um, there won't be any one person on sitting on a mountain top or like in a cave, and you just say like, I've been searching for you for all my life, and because I have one question, what do I need to do in my life? I mean, that question should come from within you. um, it's like, and then there's like, the second part of this is when you're finding your flow, what gets you flow. Like when you were younger, when you were like 10 years of 12 years of age, to 14 years of age. That's like generally when you do not you're smart, your IQ is at your peak. You get wiser after age, but your brain functionality at the age of 10, 12 to 14, that's at peak. So like what did you want to do when you were 12 years of age, when you were 13, when you were 14? Because that generally is, it gives you the right picture. I wanted to get into what's it called? When I was 14, I wanted to be an engineer because I saw my father being an engineer, my brother, my grandfather. So it was like, it was very natural and easy for me. And which industry did I choose? I chose to get into computer science. And then eventually I specialized in data sciences. Um, so like that's like it doesn't really mean that whatever at the age of 12 that you think that's the right answer. No, it gives you a general perspective because you don't have responsibilities generally at the age of 12 to 14, and generally you're not biased because you're just going with what your gut tells you what you want to do. um, I think at the age of 14 I was playing video games. I was like, hey, the computer technology, I'm really learning into this, so like I have to get into this. And I was making websites on like there were different platforms. Like I even learned HTML back in 1997 or something, and I completely forgot about it. I was like 13, maybe. No, I was 12. Yeah, 12, 13. Like 97. I was 12. Yeah. So like that's what I knew back then. And eventually I ended up getting into computer science, not knowing that this is something which I would get into. And you have to be realistic. Like someone says, at the age of 12, I want to be the president of Pakistan. Very good. Be that person. But do you think everyone can be the president of Pakistan or the prime minister of Pakistan or the president of their country? Very rarely, very highly unlikely. What you can do is work for the government, work closely to the government. Like, and another point that is like, what did you grow up around? Like your family background, what your grandparents did, what did your uncles do, what did your aunts do, what did your cousins do, what did your brothers do, your siblings, your sisters, what did they do, and how did you grow up? Like you could grow up around nothing, absolutely nothing. Like you could be an orphan, or you could be like in Pakistan we're like a very close knit family. Like you have a lot of cousins and there's a lot of competition. So it gives you a general idea. Like, hey, we're in this industry, so like it's better to get into that industry. And you could be like they're going for education, higher education. That's a path for you. Like you can get into higher education. They're like saying like, hey, we're in the power industry, and and so that's just gives you a persona. You're basically trying to figure out what did I grow up around, what influences me, what makes me like because this is some knowledge that was passed on by your elders to you. So like if that's like basically like from the ages from when you're born to the age of 24, there's a mind map that's basically you're absorbing information and not knowing that I'm being influenced by so many things. So that's what happens basically at the age. So like just find out what industry did you grow what like not the industry specifically, what was happening around you when you were like 10 years of age, 12 years of age, till the age of 24, like all the way through college, like you've graduated, like how were your families, like did you come from an agriculture background, but you did a degree in bachelor's in computer sciences, or you're doing a bachelor's degree in data sciences. How can I even relate agriculture to data sciences? Well, you can make an application, a mobile app or a web app that can automate the agriculture cycle. So that's one of the clues that you have to find out. Like, it doesn't really mean that, you have to choose that industry. You can, the acquired knowledge that took you like 20 years, 24 years to acquire, you can apply that to the industry that your forefathers were given. So, and then like another thing, uh, your friends and family, they will give you positive feedback, and they will say like, hey, you can do anything, you can, if you say you're going to be the president of Pakistan or the prime minister of Pakistan, you can be that guy. That's his friends and family. They're there to like say anything, like even if you're like, if they say like you have the most horrible voice, and they'll be say like, hey, I don't think so, like this is the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. They're gonna just like give you compliments without actual facts. So the fact which I'm trying to say is like, what do your enemies compliment you on? That's something very, very rare, and I don't think so. Anyone generally gets compliments from their enemies because they're just, there are people. There might be people in your family, your social circle, at your, if you're working, they don't like you. They're not the best. They don't have the best interest for you at heart. So they must compliment you. So I'm like, hey, they could be like, I don't like you, but you're very punctual. I don't like you, but you're a nice guy. I don't like you, but you're good at problem solving. So that's also a clue. That's also like a clue to like basically telling you like, and keep these things simple. So and like, there's this like, keep it simple, stupid. Like it should be so simple that even a stupid person can understand it. So that's how it shouldn't be like too complex. Yes, simple things are very very difficult, very very complex. But simplicity, like it solves a lot of things. Like, and most importantly, like today is a Saturday night when you're with your friends and you don't have any money issues, like you're not out there to talk about like how can I make money out of this. What do you generally talk about? Like, is it politics, is it sports, is it like, I'm looking for investment opportunities, like, real estate is really down, but I've heard that, if you invest in cars in Pakistan, I see a guy, he just, he just applies um, for a car. So like I'm just gonna pause here to have some questions. Mr. Timur, can you like get me some questions?
Uh,
Like, if
okay,
you,
thank you very much for this opportunity to ask few of the questions from the audience. The first question is, if what are the prerequisites to entering into the data science career? Like, what are
yeah.
few of the things? Like, do you need to have a specific degree, or can you go with the diplomas or certificates and get into the field, or you could be some hobbyist, or you could read books and come into data science? What are the prerequisites to becoming a data scientist? And the second
Okay. So,
question I
so
would like to
yeah.
pose at this
First, yeah.
spot.
Okay. Okay. So
The
what are
second
the
question is,
prerequisites?
what would be
Okay.
the utility of, sorry, what would be the
Okay.
utility of data science in the field of biomedical sciences and electrical engineering?
Okay. Right. 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 And anything else?
That's it for now. That's it.
Okay, so basically, so there's another question that's like, there's a student who's asking like, I'm in the engineering field. I want to do my master's in data sciences. Do you suggest me I should do it or not? First of all, I don't know what your interests are. So like, what did you grow up around? Like, are you a problem solver? Are you good at storytelling? How's your visualization? How's your programming? Can you tell me that? And have you actually manipulated data? Based on that, it's not, it's just saying like, I sit in an Uber ride and I ask the Uber driver like, can you tell me where I'm supposed to go? I cannot tell you. You can just tell the Uber driver that, I want to do this. I want to go from point A to point B. Can you take me via the shortest route or like the most convenient route? The Uber driver will just be able to take you from point A to point B. If you ask the Uber driver, like, hey, tell me where I want to go, or like, should I go there? That's not the right question. Like, what question is like, the question that Mr. Tamur has asked, like, what are the prerequisites? What do you, if a person wants to get into the field of data sciences, what should it be? Like, so, like, okay, first of all, there are different universities, they're offering a bachelor's program. So like, what I have come up with is like three different things. Is like, first of all, uh, power around data? What is your grip around data? And that subject is statistics. You need to have at least a basic understanding of statistics, and it could be differential statistics, it could be inferential statistics, it could be um, like have an understanding of statistics. So that's one subject area that you need to master if you want to be a data scientist. Number two is programming. Like, can you solve things using programming? That's where the computer science comes in. And number three is the business domain. Like, so there are three pillars. That's like, so like number one is statistics. Number two is computer science and statistics and maths. That's and probabilities. Like, I'll just sum it around statistics. Probability, and that comes under statistics. Computer science, like, you need to be a good programmer. Like, it can be like, hey, I choose to be in data sciences because I don't have to program. Well, guess what? I haven't found a good data scientist that has not programmed anything. You have to be smart enough to program different things. You can be good at programming and not be a data scientist, and you can be a data scientist, but it doesn't apply that way. I mean, a good data scientist has to have knowledge of programming. And then there's the business domain, like industry. There are different conceptual data models based around the industry. The telecommunication has a different data model. The manufacturing industry has an entirely different data model. The communication, the logistics industry, the oil and gas industry, the retail industry, the wholesale industry, healthcare, and it's so many different industries. They have their own data models. Make sure that you understand all that. And what are the prerequisites? So, like statistics, computer science, and business knowledge. So, like if you have all three, yes, you are a qualified data scientist. Minimum amount of time, which I recommend, is 10 years minimum. That's my understanding. So you need to really go down, get your hands dirty uh, with the industry. So like in like you, I'll just say like so you can safely get the knowledge with a bachelor's degree in three different areas: business, computer science, and statistics, right? And then take like 5 years down that and 5 years of different industries. Just pick three industries. I chose like manufacturing, financial sector, and telecommunications. So like that's the three industry which I chose. I have now worked with. I wish to work. I'm working with the power and energy. Worked with the wholesale, retail, insurance, and then there's the health insurance. So that's something which I learned on my own as well. Five industries, and then there's the manufacturing, telecommunication, and the financial sector. So like 8 industries so far that I have personally, and then there's the spatial data science. So that's 9 industries that I have personally worked with. I have business templates. Like you can ask me anything. I won't have it on the top of my head or on the top of my fingers, but I will have an understanding of like, hey, this is the subject area and this is the industry that's working on. Courses. So like there's knowledge and there's skill set. Do not confuse that. If I know Java, does that mean my concepts of programming are good? No. Programming is a concept. That's knowledge. And Java, learning Java or Node.js or React or Angular or like any other tool set. Like I know Python. Hey, guess what? Python did not exist like 20 years from now. It might have, but it wasn't as evolved as it is now. And you have no guarantee that like 10 years from now, Python would even be used. The year 2005, when I was really enrolled in the bachelor's program, Python was like, it's platform independent. You can take it on the web, you can take it on the desktop. You don't need to have like a layer or like a compiler layer or like I don't know the exact name. So like you don't, it has to be platform independent. But look at where Java is right now. It's taken on the mobile phone industry, but it's like JSP and on the Java server pages, it's very rare. I don't think so. Like it's not really that big on the website. That's just my understanding. So and like the question was like in the biomedical field, yes, biomedical field is a very evolving subject, and like medicine, like basically what if you have like biology, medicine, and you mix it up with data sciences and programming and all that. It could be anything. It could be the agriculture industry. Like you could know like what is the best time to plant seeds for the crop. And so like that's that. And any other question, Mr. Timur? So like, what are the prerequisites? And then there was like in the biomedical field.
There's another question from one of the audience is what is the difference between data analytics and data science?
Okay, data sciences is like the general umbrella, and data analytics is like one portion. You like analyze the data, and that requires the statistical understanding and your statistical background. Like how is the data collected, how am I analyzing it, and like where is the application as like that comes from like it has you have to have a statistical background, and an MBA person can be a data analyst, but a data scientist has to have like computer science or method and programming. I mean, without that, that's like an integral part. Business without understanding the business. So like if you mix business with programming, you become a software engineer. If you mix statistics with business, you become an MBA. And if you mix all three of them, you become a data scientist. So that's my understanding. Again, I'm no point of reference. I'm just a regular guy who's still learning, and I have a lot to learn. So like, this is just my opinion. You can find the experts. Of course, there are people way better than me, way smarter than me. So that's just my. So like, there's a question which appears on the screens like the profit of machine learning. Will it help us in our research thing? Of course. Like I don't really understand the background or the entire question, but like if you're interested in research and and you want to get into machine learning, yes, machine learning is a very evolving area. Like there's the application of machine learning, and then there's the science of machine learning. Like what are the concepts? Like you could get into the theoretical side, or you can get into the application side. That's on you. That's entirely on you. You're like, some people, they like if you get into the theoretical aspect of machine learning, and that's very good. That's very needed. And then there's the application. And any other question, Mr. Timur? The question is like how data science is useful in research areas.
Hello, can you hear?
Yeah. Could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, it is. The first question is, if we choose data science over machine learning, is there any possibility? Like, is there an option we can choose between data science and machine learning? And there is another question people wants to know about the difference between deep learning and the other programming languages.
Deep learning and programming languages. Okay. Okay. First of all, let me answer the question like data science and machine learning. Data science is the bigger umbrella. In it comes programming, and that's where machine learning comes in. That's like you have to have a very strong understanding and background of mathematics. Like it can start with linear algebra to very complex derivatives and all that. So you need to have a very strong mathematical background to understand how the algorithms work and which algorithm to choose from. And that's data science is like the bigger umbrella, is the bigger picture. Machine learning is a very, very thin area. Not every data set has applications for machine learning. For example, spatial data analysis is primarily data exploratory analysis. You may not find an application for applying machine learning to make a predictive model. Like, for example, the stock market cannot have a predictive model because, like, I can say like I have 20 years of data from the stock market. Based on that, can I predict which is going to be the most emerging? No, you cannot. That's entirely a different ballgame. You cannot build a predictive model. Yes, you can have a data exploratory analysis based on the stock market, but you might not be able to have a machine learning algorithm applied and have a predictive model. The second question is like deep learning and programming languages. Yes, deep learning is like machine. It's like artificial intelligence. Then there's like this sub area which is machine learning, which has grown. Like, it was really small within artificial intelligence, and then it grew. Like now, so people are like saying like we should treat artificial intelligence differently and machine learning differently. And within machine learning, there's deep learning, and within deep learning, then there's this the image processing and all that. The neural networks, like what happens is like there's like an input layer, there's this the processing layer, and then there's the output layer. So like within that layer, you split that up. Like each layer is like it'll feel like 1,000 parameters to choose from. So you'll have like hidden layers. There'll be like 1,000 hidden layers. That's what deep learning is. And like what programming languages, Python is very popular. You can have you can choose .NET, C Sharp. The programming language is independent. Like you can even have like like Python is very popular. It's open source. There are libraries you can use. So like from a student's point of view, from like having a quick understanding, cloud services provided by different cloud services like Azure, Microsoft, Amazon, Oracle, IBM. They have their own implementations of the machine learning and deep learning programs. So, any more questions, Mr. Timur?
No, that's it for now. I think you can continue with the rest of the explanation you were explaining before, please.
So they wanted to know the name of the second book. It's Age Factor of Personality. Age Factor of Personality. And the first book is Finding Flow. That's one of the books which I recommend you read. Yeah, I think so I'll just continue. So like basically where I was basically like today is a Saturday night, and the talk we're doing right now is like we're trying to explain how data science can help you choose a career. So I'm basically going into like where do you collect the right data? If you have the wrong data, you can come to a very wrong conclusion. So make sure the data that you're collecting is correct, and you can visit the website like the American. The American government, sorry,
Labor.
labor, yes, labor, sorry, yeah, Department of Labor, category industry wise. So like that's very helpful, and it's basically, yeah. So that has it like very well structured. Like you can choose anything, and like our mind is very delusional. Back in 2002, I used to be in my school basketball team, and I used to think that I was really good. Like I'm just doing layups and all that. Um, there was a recording which they did of our school team. Eventually, we won against another school. Um, and back then, I used to think that I would do a run up and just jump really high, and the amount of like height I would reach, it was just 2 inches. Looking at the video like 20 years from now, so like in my mind, I was delusional that I'm just going all the way to the hoop and just making a dunk. I barely jumped enough. So like our mind, that what happens is like you're delusional. Like I'm good at this. I can do this. So you need to have people analyze you, not your friends, but your enemies, because they see you for who you are and for who you're not as well. So they just want to destroy you, or like they don't want to see you succeed. So like any compliments from them, that's like so like also like if you have like 5 to 10 years of experience, I have about like more than 10 years of industry experience. So um, what happens is like what have I been doing for the last 5 to 10 years? That'll give me a general idea. It's like I don't really have to like leave it all together. I can just make small adjustments to it. Like for example, what I did was like I worked like 7 years for different companies. Primarily, there was like Teradata was one of them. I worked there 5 years, and then there was like the application. I was a software engineer. Then I became a professional consultant, and for the last 3 years, I have been running my own business as a professional services consultant. for different industries. And it's not just like, I'm just in data sciences. Yes, that's what I've specialized in, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I love. But I welcome any consultancy task, that be it engineering, be it any industry. So like I welcome it, and I try to deploy a solution based on that. So like currently, which I'm working on, the projects which I'm working on is around the power and electricity industry. The market is the US and the UK. And so I'm basically, there are two areas which I'm building a data warehouse for one company, and I'm doing spatial data analysis to route the power grids and all that. So like there's two applications of data sciences that do not involve machine learning: a data warehouse and spatial data analysis. So that's that. And continuing down where I was, so like on the starter, like money's not involved. What do you talk with your friends? That will give you an idea of like where you're headed and like what you should be doing. And well, it's like try to do whatever comes naturally to you. Like don't just force things on yourself. Like because my parents, this is something very common in the subcontinent and the eastern countries. Like we're very much influenced by our parents, because I want to be a basketball player, but my mother says become an engineer or a doctor or an accountant. It's respectable that way. It'll help you down, get married, get settled. It's respectable. Hey, someone wants to be a singer, he has a really good voice, but we say like uh, it doesn't have a lot of money in it. Pick a career that has like it's a steady growth, something like a job security, the illusion of a job security. I can safely say there is no job that is secure, be it America, be it in Pakistan. No job is secure. Be it a government job or a private job, there is no security. I mean that pretty much has been like, you see people, they're like they get laid off when you least expect it. So like um, even the politicians, they're not secure. Even the head of the state, they're not secure. We've seen that in the history of Pakistan. Elsewhere in the world as well. So like you're the guy who's running the country, and everyone reports to you, and you get replaced. So like, where's the job security in that? So don't go for the illusion of a job security, because there is no security there. You won't be secure. What you can secure are your careers. Is yourself. Like if you are secure, you can secure anything else. Like when I was learning swimming back in grade six, what happened was like our teachers like, uh, if you want to save someone from drowning, first of all you need to know how to swim. Number two, you need to secure yourself first, and then you attempt to save the person. Because if you lack like the first two, like if you don't know how to swim, or if you don't secure yourself, earlier on there was just one person drowning, but if you try to save the other person, there'll be two people drowning. And that's confirmed, because the first thing the person will do is just grab hold of you, and if you're not secure, you're both going down, because the person who's drowning, he's panicking. So first of all, if you want to save someone, if you want to save others, or if you want to save yourself for that matters, be secure. Secure yourself. Develop such skill sets that are needed in the world. And like it doesn't really have to be money oriented. You have to solve problems with different people. Like be there to be a problem solver. Be a person who has looked at, hey, this guy helped me at this time, and whenever I throw a problem at him, that's like this guy can solve it. So like another thing which I developed, like I mean I used to hear this a lot earlier, like even like in the years 2012 or something. Like make be such a good consultant that you create your own job. Like you go apply for an interview, even if those people, they don't have a job for you, they're forced to make an opening for you. I didn't really believe in that, and recently, like for the past 3 years, even when I'm applying or when I'm going to a consultant, they'd say like, we have no openings for you. I mean, for that job designation, but we'll even make an a separate department, and that has happened for me for three different clients that I worked for. Like I was in the job mode back then, from the years 2017 to 18. So like I was experimenting, and like because the value that I was providing, that was greater than what they had expected. Because don't be so rigid that I am going to limit myself to a very small set of goals. Yes, if the time comes in, be adaptable, learn to grow. The people, like there's a saying, like, survival of the fittest. No, I would say it's the survival of the most adaptable. People who have adapted with time, they survive. Like if you're an engineer, and you've adapted to the new standards, yes, you will survive in the current market. But if you're still looking at the standards that you learned back in your school days, chances of you having the application of those standards is very slim. So like, and data science does not really mean that you have to be a very strict programmer, or you have to be a very business savvy person. You have to have like one area, one of your it's like domains is like, um, is like, it should be your strength. It could be programming. Mine is programming. I come from a programming background, and then I added the statistics and the business side. So I think we should conclude the session. Thank you so much for your time. If there are no questions, I think we should wrap it up.
I think you have
There's a
answered most.
question.
No, no,
Yeah.
you have answered most of them. There are a few questions about like what are the prerequisites. You have already answered. One person is asking about the machine learning. It is a repeated question. You have already answered it. If I is a PhD necessary to get into the data science? This is one of the question.
Okay, the
And
PhD is to be depends on like where you want to apply. If it's like theoretical side, yes, you need to have a PhD in that. Uh, and you can even, like, there's some places, that some positions that require a PhD, but a minimum master's degree. That's what's required if you want to be a data scientist. A minimum of master's, because a bachelor's degree does not really get you into the research, but a master's, it puts your foot in the door, and you can build that. So, and a PhD is like, you can like have confined solitary research, and you have like you get it through the entire process. So a PhD is necessary for those specific areas that require a PhD, and that's specific requirement. But it's for to get into the field. No, a master's, yes. A master's, yes. A bachelor's, no. You need to have or some research background. Any more questions?
no, I think that's it for today. Uh,
All right. Thank
yeah.
you so much for having me on board. I look forward to hearing you guys soon.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zan, and we hope that you would be with us in upcoming sessions.
All
And
right.
we will be
Thank you so
doing
much.
more of such interesting sessions from your side in coming future. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, audience, for being with us today. We will be bringing more of such sessions in coming future. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.